Alright, so this is probably going to be the most stuffed video in this series out of all of them, so let me not waste any more of your time and let me just get right into it. Started this month with the 2 Charlie and the Chocolate Factories. Might as well add the fact that I watched Wonka as well. Have a separate video for all 3. One matches up the first 2. The 1971 film is just simply untouchable. The Gene Wilder's performance to the actual practical sets and songs. Tim Burton's, well, maybe not the best film ever or even the best portrayal of these characters or story, but it was definitely a movie, and Wonka was great, surprised me and still leaves me with a good taste in my mouth. Really enjoyed it, and it's pretty high in my film rankings for the year, but it might just be recency bias. I also watched Talk to Me finally. Bro, the first 30 minutes alone in this film is a 10 out of 10. I don't even need the horror aspects, which were good in their own right. Just give me a teen drama with these characters and I'm down. And all that just made me care for these characters and cared for what was going to happen to them, although they were doing dumb stuff. And points alone for the inclusion of the sidemen. Then I watched Bottoms, and please do not come at me. I didn't like this. I thought it was really unfunny, and it's crazy because this film was trying its hardest to tell jokes and I wanted to force myself so hard to laugh at those jokes, but I'm afraid I might just not be the target audience for this film. Even when I was talking to my friend about it, she said that this film just might not be for me. And also that one babe from the No Exits film on Disney Plus or Hulu, if you depending on where you are, is also in this. And it was funny because I always see her on like the homepage. Disney is always like slapping her for me to watch this film. Maybe I might watch it now. I watched Justice League Warworld after that. Simply put, this is just a dumb movie or an anthology film that just tried to make up the fact that it was a glorified trailer for the next film in the animated thingy. Moving on. Watched Voyage on the last Demeter, Dracula on a boat. Bro, I actually have nothing to say for this film, if I'm being completely honest. If you read the synopsis for this film, that's exactly what you get. It's such a forgettable, average film, and honestly, it's fine just as that. I don't know what you're doing at the end, trying to tease a sequel and create a franchise. Just be a standalone movie. You're just perfect as that. And then I watched Elemental after, and now I do not really understand the hate this film is getting, because I actually enjoyed it. Bro, this film is going to get so many dislikes, but good thing nobody ever watches these videos. But yeah, Elemental, I love the intro with her and her dad being like, what do you call these first generation immigrants or citizens, getting into the new environment and making it theirs, really creating this community. It's something that personally I can relate to a bit, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people can also relate to this. And it was just really nice to see something like this being depicted. Love the voice acting from Mamoudou Athi, I hope I really got his name well, who was also in The Burial and Jurassic World Dominion, but we do not talk about that last film. He voiced our water dude, and honestly I thought I would hate him and he would come off as this annoying character, but he was pleasantly one of the best parts of the film. And surprisingly, the Fire Girl was the part of the film that I didn't really like. But my one major critic with this film is that the Fire Girl like has this skill that she can make glass. I wish we got like more backstory into that, like maybe she was able to do it in the past but they never allowed her to do it, or like I don't know, something like, I don't know, it just came out from nowhere. Even if we didn't get backstory, I wish we just like saw more of it. Yeah, we saw glimpses of it, but I wish we like it was really integrated in the story from the start and not the way they just like spawned it from nowhere in the middle of the film. But apart from that, I really actually enjoyed this film, you know. Then I watched Barbie finally. Got to most of the sex education guys from this, apart from the main guy, Asa Butterfield. He was just left off for this. I feel bad for him. And for the movie itself, I think the dance choreography was really cool, as well as the film sets designs, and it was just a really pretty film to look at. I also love the editorial style, and that was all such some things I was just a big fan of, as well as the music. I feel it's not really like a big musical, but like the musical numbers in it are really fun. We all love the Ken song by Ryan Gosling, nominated for that Oscar. Good luck to him if he wins or not, I don't really care. But yeah, it's just a really nice movie. I think Margot Robbie is great. Greta Gerwig, like real congratulations to her, biggest film of the year. Can't believe I'm actually watching this film 6 months after it got released, but it was worth it. I can't lie, it was a really nice film. Then I watched The Covenant by Guy Ritchie because of Anthony Starr, and I am pleased to say he's only in this film for 7 minutes, and this is a film over 2 hours. But bro, did I enjoy this film way more than I thought I will. Also some funny scenes that I liked. 2 I'll talk about. I'm really into tech, and they boldly mentioned this film takes place in 2018. So seeing this scene and clearly viewing that Google Pixel 8 was in it was so funny. And also a cool scene that I liked was when they were in this truck and the Taliban got into that truck and they're like he was trying to hide the person in the truck. I don't know, it just felt like a scene from a Metal Gear Solid game. Film also had some really good visual cues and the use of text boxes to explain certain terms. I also love when movies do those little things. It's really nice, you know. And the score was really excellent in this film. I really felt engaged throughout the entire runtime of this movie. Did not feel like a drag, did not feel boring, and I was surprised by it because I really hate war films, so I was surprised I actually enjoyed this. Then I watched Plane, not that Plane, the other one that dropped out in January. Talking about films that keep surprising me, I thought this would be a rubbish action film, and like I said for the Demeter, this film is just fine. Final land sequence kept me impressed and almost had me clapping at the end, and that's actually so funny because recently I was on a flight and upon landing, the plane was doing some weird stuff and we had to circle around the airport, so it was just funny that I remember that. But yeah, solid streaming film, but crazy that this film actually had a theatrical release. Then Transformer Rise of Beast, like Anthony Ramos in this, but his Power Rangers suit at the end. Please, we do not need that. The humans don't have to be directly involved in these films. Let them just have their big gun and that's enough. Like Talk to Me, its human aspects where it introduced the characters, Anthony Ramos' character along with his family and everything was really nice, but the other girl we could have done without her. And it won't be a Transformers film without a big laser beam. They had me in the first half thinking that they were going to skip that, but we had a big laser beam in this. Then May December, not really a big fan of this, but I will say Charles Melton steals this film from everyone. Playing this broken child but like imprisoned in the body of a man, just robbed his childhood and still after being grown up is still being treated like somewhat of a child by his weirdo wife. So yeah, also credit to Julianne Moore in this. She was really great. Dating someone in your son's class is just a vile act. She's not acting like she's this psychotic baby, treating her husband like her son too. So love the scene with Julia and Natalie doing their makeup for each other. Felt rich and satisfying. But overall, I'm just not really a big fan of this film. Like, it's good, but I don't know, I don't love it like how other people love it. Okay. Then I watched The Little Mermaid. Don't know if Disney borrowed stuff from James Cameron's Avatar or the second Black Panther film. To be fair, it wasn't as dark as Wakanda Forever, but the CGI was a mixed bag in this for me. More of the water VFX looked great, and for the most part, think we can all agree that the animal visual effects, most especially Sebastian, were really horrific and also affected it in some adapted scenes from the cartoons. For example, the Under the Sea. I remember when this film got released and I was watching reviews by other YouTubers about it. I can't remember the exact person that said it, but they pointed out the Under the Sea thing. I didn't think it to be such a deal breaker for me, but like when I finally watched this film, we really need the ad-libs for Under the Sea, and because the animals are all like live action animals and not the cartoonish animated ones, you can't really create that richness in the ocean, and it takes away from the experience from like what you get in the cartoon. But onto Halle Berry. Halle Bailey. She was great in this. Still a bit against her casting because I think Hollywood should really stop with these weird castings, but she delivered. She was terrific in this. Love the first song in particular. This babe can sing. Loads I can go on about with this film, but I'll just end it as here for time. I like this film and it beat my super low expectations I had for it. I think it's an alright adaptation, one of the better ones that Disney have made for their previous animated films, and I'm not excited to watch Snow White. Then Disney again, another bang average film, this time with The Haunted Mansion. I love Lakeith Stanfield, and I think this film was at its best when it was centered around him. I think most of the other characters are really forgettable, and that's disappointing considering the star-studded cast it got. And there's no way in heaven or hell you're telling me that this film cost $150 million to make. Like, how is it costing that much? What are they doing with that money? I'm convinced like it's embezzlement or something. And also, Disney not dropping this film in a Halloween period is just stupidity. Could have been a good family fun Halloween flick, but Disney just lost so much money this year. Then Chicken Run 1 and 2. I actually wanted to do a video covering both of these films, but I chose against it. Found out that DreamWorks were also involved in this, which just solidifies my placement as them as the go-to animations. Think this film think both of them are really fun. The first one in particular, I enjoyed it when I was younger and it still ages well. Love the fact that Mel Gibson is facing Rocky. Man, he absolutely nailed it. But can we talk about how Ginger is holding Miss Tweedney at the end? Like, bro, what reps is she going through? Then the second one, Netflix really gave us that The Incredibles 2 treatment. You slime monkeys. Went to and silently released this film. This highly anticipated sequel to this beloved animated film that came out like 20 years ago. They did not like market it or anything. I think if this film had the push, it could have been a good December through January release, like The Last Wish, the Puss in Boots film, not the Disney